Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so we're still talking about this Kevin McCarthy ousted as speaker fallout situation. Of course, the trend, at least with my videos, the topic that we've been covering, or that we've been mostly focused on, is just the hysteria of it all, the outrage. It's such a bad thing, they keep telling us. We're bad people, those MAGA extremists. But I don't know, it's literally been like less than 24 hours, and all I'm seeing is good. First off, Kevin McCarthy, an absolute zero charisma, empty suit, career politician loser, has finally been removed from the speaker position. If you don't got the qualities to be a leader, then you probably shouldn't be leader, so that's obviously one good thing. But then this little piece of news hits. All of a sudden, Nancy Pelosi's being evicted from her office. The eviction notice document has been sent, the room has been rekeyed, as Nancy Pelosi gets the boot. Just a generally funny headline. Let's take a look at what's happening. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so the first headline comes from Mediaite. Acting Speaker orders Pelosi to vacate her office. Quote, the room will be rekeyed. Mere hours after taking over Speaker pro tempore with the ouster of Representative Kevin McCarthy on Tuesday, Representative Patrick McHenry ordered former Speaker Nancy Pelosi to vacate her office by Wednesday. Please vacate the space tomorrow. The room will be rekeyed. An email sent to Pelosi's office viewed by Politico stated. The email added that the room will be used for Speaker office use. Pelosi is currently using a hideaway office, which only a handful of members receive. Given that she is Speaker Emerita, McCarthy allowed Pelosi to occupy the space. McHenry, who is a McCarthy ally, is clearly less keen on it. She slammed the move, calling it a sharp departure from tradition. You know, I like that. A sharp departure from tradition. If whatever's been going on over the last, let's say, couple of decades is tradition, well then tradition needs to be thrown out the damn window. A lot of people don't seem to understand all the emphasis or all the reporting related to this office stuff that's currently going on. Whatever, big deal, it's just a damn office. That's what a lot of people seem to be saying, at least what I've seen. But it actually goes a whole lot deeper than that. It's not just an office move. The first question you need to ask yourself is, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats lost the House. Why does she have some special speaker office? What makes her entitled to that? Well, very simply, folks, the reason she had that office is due to an unholy alliance that was right under your nose.
You know what's interesting? Everybody's sitting there. In today's world, if you're sitting in Congress and you took a gamble to make sure government was still open, and 8 people can throw you out as speaker, and the Democrats who said they wanted to keep government open, I think you've got a real divide. I think you've got a real institutional problem. Interesting, it was in this room after we had won the majority, I had become speaker last, and Nancy Pelosi came to me. She was speaker at the time on the way out. And I told her I was having issues with getting enough votes. And she said, what's the problem? I said, they want this one person can rule you out. She was the only speaker to have changed that rule. I had the power to call the vote on her, but I never would. I lost some votes because of it. And she said, just give it to him. I'll always back you up. I made the same offer to Boehner and same thing to Paul, because I believe in the institution. I think today was a political decision by the Democrats. And I think the things they have done in the past hurt the institution. When they just started removing people from committee, and they just started doing the other things. And my fear is the institution fell today. Because you can't do the job if 8 people, you have 94% of, or 96% of your entire conference, but 8 people can partner with the whole other side. How do you govern? And for them to make a motion on me because I made a decision for the country that they agreed with, but they choose to do the other, that becomes a problem. Yes, sir.
Nancy Pelosi was given that office and probably a couple other things, as long as she helped support and enable Kevin McCarthy. I pretty much guarantee you that was the deal. Democrats then, of course, betrayed Kevin McCarthy, voting him out of his speakership role, and so you know what we're seeing now? Revenge. The McCarthy faction of the House is taking revenge on Nancy Pelosi's office and Democrats for siding with Matt Gaetz. And if you ask me, that is more good reason as to why Kevin McCarthy was not the right guy for the job. Because Kevin McCarthy was more focused focused on forming allyships with Nancy Pelosi than he was actually representing his voters. Just keep that in mind. Nancy Pelosi, the woman behind the 2018 Democrat takeover of the House, which made their #1 legislative priority, not working for American citizens, but no, endless impeachments and investigations targeting Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi, who then launched the January 6th Commission, which lied, misrepresented, and fabricated evidence on multiple occasions, spun a narrative rather than investigating the actual details of the event itself. Nancy Pelosi, who has caused so much division, so much chaos, who has been so antagonistic, and who led the legislative blitz, let's call it, that's currently making you poorer through inflation and everything else going on. Yeah, that individual, that was Speaker McCarthy's ally, friend, and probably priority above the interest of actual GOP voters. That's the message, or that's kind of what I'm able to gather here. It's all elitist Washington clique politics. It's all a game. And what's equally, if not more frustrating, is the entitlement. Not from Nancy Pelosi in this case, but this time coming from Kevin McCarthy. Because after Nancy Pelosi was removed from her little speaker office, guess who's taking that office? Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy to be given Pelosi's office at the Capitol. The level of entitlement to me is astonishing. Kevin McCarthy has a 34% favorability rating. In other words, he's hated. He's less popular than Joe Biden. He's been an absolute, utter failure. He's now the first House Speaker to get removed from office, I think since like 1876 or something. That's coming off memory, by the way. Number could be incorrect, but something along those lines. I mean, he's the first speaker to be removed in a really, really long time. He is entitled to nothing, yet from his view, he's entitled to a speaker-adjacent fancy Capitol office because he views himself as top brass in the Republican Party. Not based on merit, not based on voter will, popularity, favorability, approval rating, not based on track record, no, based on nothing but title. Kevin McCarthy wasn't elected by the voters to be serving as Speaker of the House. He was elected by lobbyist-controlled Washington puppet politicians. He was in that position not because he had your support, not because he had voter support, because he had Nancy Pelosi's support and Mitch McConnell's support. Yeah, that right there is what people are sick of. That right there is the problem. People want elected representatives who actually represent them. Politicians like Kevin McCarthy are lost. They've lost their way. Now, that implies that they had their way to begin with, not so sure in this case, but they're certainly lost. Lost individuals. You know, Kevin McCarthy's working for himself. He's working for his office, his title, his legacy, his name. You know, it seems like Kevin McCarthy and others like him have lost track. They've forgotten that they're servants of the people and not servants of themselves or some elitist lobbyist interest. Not the interest of a political party, you know, not the interest of the RNC and whatever their most recent tactical ambition is. No, the interest of the voters who got him there in the first place. That's the problem. So yeah, they should all be vacated. They should all be evicted. Nancy Pelosi should be evicted from that office, absolutely. I mean, enough. As if an 80-year-old career politician who's insider traded herself to a net worth of $200 million should be indefinitely in power in Washington. No, she should be evicted. And you know who else should be evicted? Kevin McCarthy. Right after a new House Speaker is chosen, he should also be removed from that office, with the room being, quote, rekeyed. Enough of the entitlement. If you don't have voter support, you shouldn't be leading. Period. If you're not getting the job done, you should lose your job. You should lose your office, and frankly, most of these individuals should have lost their re-election campaigns roughly a decade ago. Enough with the status quo and the never-ending, no term limits, no accountability standard in Washington, where these empty suit, fake politicians get to coast and keep their positions and keep making bank, keep control of the party purse and the country purse. Enough is enough. Remove them all and pass term limits for all of Congress. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just ecstatic of whatever it is that's going on in Washington right now. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.